Welcome. I'm Rabbi Shimshon Yurkovich from Chabad Malvern. It's wonderful to share this beautiful video with you so you can enjoy it before Pesach. We always ask the question on the Seder night, Ma nishtana? Why is this year different to all other years? Well, you never thought you'd get a year like this where everything is different. How are you going to manage? What are you going to say at the Seder? How are you going to enjoy it? Follow this video. You'll see how matzah is made. You will have some insights into the Seder. You'll have a puppet show. You'll have various things for you to experience something for the Seder. And most importantly, this year, you cannot rely on anyone else that will stimulate and make the Seder exciting. It's up to you. You are the one that will make the difference. So enjoy, prepare, and you will have a great Seder.
Hi, I'm Rabbi Rovi Cooper from Chabad Malvern. Over 3,000 years ago, the Jewish people were enslaved in Egypt, and Pharaoh did not want to let them go. But after some nasty plagues, including things like this, and like this, finally he let the Jews go. And as they were leaving, they didn't have time to bake bread or fancy cakes. They slapped some flour and water together on their backs, and it was cooked in no time to rise, and it created the famous Jewish food, Matzah. And therefore, every year at our Passover celebration, at our Pesach Seder, we eat Matzah, and it's made around the world in Matzah bakeries. So come with me as we make our own Matzah today. Let's go! Welcome to our Matzah bakery. We will be making a handmade matzah today. And what are the ingredients of matzah? The simple ingredients of any matzah is flour and water. But where do you get the flour from? Flour comes from wheat, of course. And the farmer goes to his farm and he harvests his wheat, he cuts it off. And what do we do with wheat to turn it into flour? We have to grind it up. But we don't put the whole piece of stalks of wheat into our grinding machine over here. We have to take out different stalks and we have to get the grain from the top of the stalk away from the chaff and the rest of the wheat. So you take off carefully the different prickly stuff known as chaff, and you take off the sides, the shells, and you end up with just the grains of wheat. Then you take the grains of wheat and you put it into your grinding machine, like so. Then we grind up our wheat to make our flour. Grind! And I'll catch some flour here so you can see. This is pure wholemeal flour. Grinding it up. And can you see all the flour coming out? This way you get a beautiful cup of flour. And once you have your flour, you have your ingredients ready for your matzah bakery. Now, how are we going to make sure that this matzah doesn't turn into bread? Most people always tell me, well, bread has yeast, and your matzah only has flour and water. But everybody knows you can get a yeast-free bread. So, what is the difference between matzah and a yeast-free bread? And their answer is that a matzah has to be made within 18 minutes. And that time starts from when the water mixes with the flour. As soon as it starts to mix, you have 18 minutes to make your dough, roll out your matzah, put the holes in it, get it into your oven and get it cooked. Because once the 18 minutes passes, a small chemical reaction happens and your dough, your matzah, will start to rise, will start to grow, even the most little bit. And that will turn it into chametz, which is the beginning of a bread. And so, to make sure that your matzah stays matzah and not chametz, you have to make sure it's done within 18 minutes. And that's why every matzah bakery has 3 separate rooms. One room for the kemach, the flour, one room for the mayim, the water, and one room to mix it when they put the both ingredients together. Because we don't want it to mix too early. We don't want while you're preparing and grinding your wheat and it comes into flour that it might by accident mix with some water. Because then 18 minutes later, even before you've started rolling out your dough, before you've even brought it close to the oven, it will start to rise and become chametz. We don't want to have that on Pesach, so we have to keep it very separate. And that's why people like to have shmura matzah. Shmura matzah means lishmor, to guard. Because as soon as the wheat has been taken from the field, we guard it and watch it very carefully that it doesn't come in contact with any water, that it does not come in contact with any liquid, because 18 minutes later it will start that chemical reaction. And so we keep it very separate and we guard it till it's time to start the stopwatch and make our matzah. And that's why it's good to have shmura matzah on Pesach. So today we're going to pretend to make shmura matzah with our flour, which we've been watching, of course, since the wheat was harvested. And we're going to be ready to mix our dough with our perfect flour, which we just ground up, and our water, and we'll make our matzah. Okay, so we're going to put in 3 cups of flour and 1 cup of water to make our dough. And we'll knead it and to get it ready. Okay, here we go. On the count of 3, let's pour in our kemach. 1, 2, 3, kemach into our mixing bowl. And we're going to take another cup, 1, 2, 3, and a 3rd cup of flour into our mixing bowl. And now we're ready for our water. Our water will be mixed with the flour to make our dough. But before we pour the water in, we have to get our stopwatches ready, because that's when the 18 minutes starts, so that we can get it in the oven and out within 18 minutes, so it remains matzah and not chametz. Are you ready with the stopwatch? On your marks, get set, let's pour it in. And we have to knead our dough quickly. Knead, knead, knead. Kneading the dough. Make sure it's a good dough to roll out. And mixing, kneading that dough. Here we have it almost ready. Oh, beautiful dough. And what you need to do is, the 3 cups flour and 1 cup water should make enough dough to make about 10 or even 15 matzot. We'll just take off a little bit here today, about the size of a golf ball, which that should be enough to make 1 matzah. Once you have your dough, we are going to roll it out. Now, what shape should we make our matzah today? A lot of you might have seen those square matzot, but today we're not making square matzah, we're making a round matzah. And that's because every handmade matzah is round. And that's the difference between a machine-made matzah and a handmade matzah, is the shape. That a handmade matzah is always round. And if you forget, you can always look at my kippah. Nice and round matzah. Now, why is it good to have a handmade matzah at your Seder? Because as you're making your matzah with the hand, you can think and have the intention that you're making it for the mitzvah of eating it on Pesach. A machine can't have that train of thought, can't have that intention. So at least at your Seder, you should have at least 1 handmade round matzah. So once you've got your golf ball ready, we are going to the table to roll out our matzah. Okay, so we have our golf ball. If you need to make it a little bit, if it's too sticky, the dough, you can always just add a little bit more flour into it. And we've got exactly still about 8 more minutes to finish off our matzah. Now, in order to keep it round, you roll it and then you turn it. Roll it and turn it. That's how you keep your matzah nice and round. So we're going to be rolling out our matzah and getting it nice and thin. A matzah has to be very thin. Once we've got it nice and thin, do you know what we're going to put inside our matzah on both sides? Not chocolate spread, but we will be making holes. You have to have holes on both sides of your matzah. And the reason for that is that you want it to be a holy matzah. but also that it doesn't rise. Because remember, if our matzah starts to rise even the most little bit, it becomes chametz and not fit for eating on Pesach. So holes will help the air go through and make sure that it doesn't rise. Once it's nice and thin, and preferably as round as it could be, not quite the map of Australia, but round, we'll put holes on both sides and we'll be ready to take it to the oven. Now, in every matzah bakery, they actually use a special oven which is very, very hot. Again, we have to make sure it cooks very quickly. So what they use is a red brick oven that's boiling hot, so it doesn't take time at all to cook. Then the holes go in on both sides. We flip it over, put holes on the other side, and we are ready to take it to the oven. Look at that. Perfect. Slap it on our thing, and off we go to our red brick oven to put it in. Here we go, into the red brick oven. We've still got 5 more minutes till the 18 minutes are finished, so we throw it into the oven, and it should be ready in no time. Just clicked past 17 minutes. We have 1 more minute. I hope my matzah's ready. I don't want it to turn to chametz. And it looks like it's cooking really well. It's almost done. Yes, it looks done just in time for the 18 minutes. Oh, beauty! Look at my matzah. Nice and round. Holes in both sides. Not burnt. Nice and crispy. This is going to go really well for Pesach. But, it's very hot. I need to put it in something. How about my hat? We'll just put it in my hat while it cools down. Oh, not that way. That might have lice in it. Let's save the lice for the ancient Egyptians. We'll rest it in here. And our matzah is all ready for Pesach. I'm so excited. Wishing you and your family a happy Pesach, a great Passover, and enjoy your crispy, crunchy matzah. So let's take inspiration and a lesson from what we did today of making matzah. And over Pesach, let's be more like matzah and not like chametz. Chametz, bread, is something that rises, that grows, that feels it's the top of the world, the best of the best. But no, let's be like matzah, symbolizing humility, being humble, not showing off, being just like everybody on the same plane. And by doing that, we'll come together as a community and we'll all have a happy and kosher Pesach.
Hi everyone, I'm Hunchki and I'm here to tell you a little Pesach story with the help of my puppet friends. Here we go. We're going all the way back to the land of Egypt a long, long time ago. And there was a very, very mean king. His name was King Paro. And he wasn't a nice guy. He made the Jewish people work very hard. And he did not like them at all. A little Jewish baby boy was born. His name was Moshe. And his mum made a special little basket for him to go into. And she put him floating in the Nile River. His sister Miriam watched him floating in the Nile River and floating in the Nile River, and she didn't take her eyes off him. She kept watching and watching. As she watched, she saw the princess of Egypt, Princess Batya, going for a swim in the Nile River. And the princess went swimming and swimming and swimming. And suddenly she saw a little basket and she thought, I wonder what's inside the basket. And she opened the basket up and inside she found a little baby. I'm going to take the baby home with me and raise him as my own. And baby Moshe went to live with Princess Batya. Little baby Moshe grew up until he became a man. And he would walk around the land of Egypt and have a look what was going on. And he saw that all of his brothers and sisters, the Jewish people, were working very, very hard, day and night, building pyramids and working so hard. And they said, Moshe, we're so tired. We can't do this anymore. We work day and night without a rest, all day building for Paro. Moshe Rabbeinu thought about this, and Hashem said to Moshe, Moshe, you need to go to King Paro, and you need to say, King Paro, the Jewish people need to go. And Moshe Rabbeinu said, me? Go to King Paro? I can't do that. But Hashem said, yes, you can. And so he did. Moshe went to King Paro, and he said, King Paro, will you let my people go? And King Paro said, no, I will not let them go. Please, King Paro, they're so tired and they're working so hard every day. No, said Paro, I won't let them go. Hashem wasn't happy with the way that Paro said no to the Jewish people, and he sent 10 plagues to Paro and the Egyptians to try to convince them to let the Jewish people go. First, all of the water in Egypt turned red. And King Paro, if he wanted to get some water to have a drink with, couldn't drink anything because the water was red. One morning, King Paro woke up in his bed and he felt something a little bit funny. There was frogs jumping everywhere all over him. And everywhere he looked, there were frogs jumping all over him. He didn't know what to do. Another time, there were locusts that came into the fields of the Egyptians and ate all of their wheat and barley and all of the things that they grow to eat. Yeah. Moshe Rabbeinu came to Paro at this time and he said, Paro, you've had all of these terrible plagues happen to you. Will you let the Jewish people go now? No, said Paro. I still won't let them go. And so the plagues continued. Very scary animals started to visit Egypt. Wild animals. Terrible hailstorms. Can you see my hands here? No. Oh, shouldn't have it. After that, there were some terrible hailstorms, Barad, that hurt all of the Egyptians. And finally, it became very dark in the land of Egypt, and Paro couldn't see a thing. It became so dark he looked around and he thought, oh my goodness, this isn't good. And after another terrible plague, he went to find Moshe Rabbeinu. Paro came running to Moshe and said, Moshe, I don't like these plagues. Please take the Jewish people and go. And without thinking twice, Moshe ran to the Jewish people and said, everybody, pack your bags and let's go. We're going to the promised land. Moshe and his sister Miriam led the Jewish people out of Egypt all the way to the Red Sea, the Yam Suf. And when they saw the sea, all the people said, how are we going to get out of here? But Hashem made a miracle, and the sea split in two, and the Jewish people walked across. The sea split in two, and all of the Jewish people came across to the dry land on the other side. All of the Jewish people were so happy that they left the land of Egypt and they crossed the Red Sea. Miriam and all of the ladies sang and danced with all their instruments, and Moshe led the people all the way to Har Sinai, where they got a very special present, the Torah. Thanks for watching.
Hi everyone, I'm Anocha and I'm super excited for Pesach, especially the Seder to have with my family and my children. I'd like to show you a Haggadah, the Pesach Seder guide, that one of my children put together a few years ago, and it goes through all the 15 steps of Pesach in an interesting and exciting way. So here we go. Yitzchak David's look at me Haggadah, and there's his cheeky face. So this is Kadesh, the first step of the Seder. We drink our first cup of wine and we leave. This is Orchatz. We wash our hands, but we don't say a blessing. Karpas, we dip a vegetable into salt water. Every different family has their own custom. Some people using an onion, some people parsley, some people radish. Many different customs that different people use. And Yachatz, we take the middle matzah and we break it in half. And that one we put away for the afikomen. Magid, the longest part of the Seder and a super exciting part of the Seder. We tell the story of why we're celebrating Pesach. And here is the special chance for the children to ask the 4 questions, the Manishtana. And I'm sure everyone has been working really hard on their Manishtana. And just a little hint, it all started with little baby Moshe in the basket. And we learn all about, and here's baby Moshe in the Nile. We say the Manishtana, we sing Avadim Hayinu, and we sing Dayenu, and we have lots and lots of interesting discussions and ask many questions. Then it's time for Rachza, and we wash our hands again, and this time we say a blessing. And now we're about to eat a very delicious food that I think we saw Rabbi Ruvi make. Can you guess what it is? Crunchy, crunchy matzah. And as I'm sure you watched with Rabbi Ruvi, is that matzah's made in less than 18 minutes with flour and water. So it's a very big mitzvah. It's a great thing to eat matzah on Pesach. And then it comes to maror, which is not the most exciting bit. It's when we eat bitter herbs, horseradish. And it reminds us of the terrible bitter times that we had in Egypt and how the slaves had to work so hard from Paro. The children weren't able to go to creche or to school, and the people weren't able to work. They had to work so hard. So we remember that time. And then it's Korach. It's a delicious matzah sandwich. We put matzah, as we can see, we have matzah, lettuce, horseradish inside, and another matzah. And we say a special blessing to remind us what they did many years ago. And here is Shulchan Aruch, other people's favorite part of the Seder too. It's when we eat a delicious meal. And as you can see over here, chicken soup, everybody's favorite. We've got chicken, we've got salad, and we've got some Pesach yummy cake. On Pesach, there's lots of delicious foods that we eat, and we have a beautiful meal with our family. And then Safod, it's time when we eat the afikomen. And Berach, it's time we thank Hashem. Even though times are tough now, we have to be thankful for what we have and make sure to show gratitude and say thank you to Hashem that we are well and healthy. And we say the Birkat HaMazon. A lot of people know that too. And then it's time for Hallel Nirtzah. And I think if you watch Rabbi Bellies, he'll be able to show you a special trick that he did for this. It's really cool and exciting. I'll give you a hint. It's something when we open the door for Eliyahu. And we have a really big cup. Some people have silver ones, some people have glass ones, and we fill it up and we sing our favorite song, Eliyahu Hanavi. And we hope and pray that that is the end of the Seder. And we hope and pray that next year we will be in Yerushalayim, in Jerusalem, and everyone will be healthy and well, and we sing L'Shana Haba B'Yerushalayim. And yes, this year's Seder will be different, but let's try and make it a memorable one that children will remember, adults will remember, and try and show gratitude for what we have. Have a happy, healthy, and safe Pesach. Goodbye.
I'm looking at? Hi, I'm Rabbi Veli Slavin, and today I'm going to share with you 3 creative ideas on how to make your Seder more fun and more engaging. We're going to do a prop, we're going to do a dress up, and we're going to do a game as well. So let's begin with what I have right in front of me. This is the Danger Do Not Open 10 Plagues box that you can use as a centerpiece by your Seder. So what you're going to need is a shoebox, some black paper, and some Danger Do Not Open signs that you can print offline. I've had the kids take the box, you can staple or glue, paste any way you like, the black around this shoebox. Then you can print offline the Danger Do Not Open or the Caution Do Not Open stickers, which you can stick onto this box. Place it in the center of your Seder table, and when everyone comes in, please encourage them, whatever they do, do not open the box. Now, let's see what's inside my box. At the Seder, when your family reaches the part of the Haggadah where we mention the 10 plagues, it's at that time that we open this box. And inside the box, we're going to have all our plagues. Hopefully, all the items inside the box that I'm going to talk about today are items that you can readily find around your house. So, let's begin with the first plague. The first plague was dam, blood. Here's an idea. Let's see what we have inside. Firstly, just take a bottle with some water, and inside, some red food coloring. Let's pour a little bit of that in. Just a little bit, just enough. And let's shake that up. And there you go. This is one option. If food coloring is really not your thing, you can play around with some red tape or some red cellophane. You can put the tape around the bottle, the cellophane inside the bottle, or any other ideas that you can play around with the color red. Okay, let's move on to the next plague. So the next plague was frogs. You'll have to run around your house and see if you can find different options of frogs. Let's see what I have in my box. Here, I have some basic bathtub frogs, or more of a play frog. I have some of these jumping frogs. Whoa. You get the idea. Any kind of frogs around your house will be perfect for the second step. And if you want to cause a little bit of havoc during the Seder, you can get your noise-making frogs. That's enough. Let's move on to the third plague. So the third plague was lice. Well, with this one, I had to be a little creative. It was hard to look around the house and find a fake lice, but what I did find was a magnifying glass. We know in the plague, and we know with lice, they're really, really, really small and hard to see. So here, you have your magnifying glass. And with my magnifying glass, I searched around the house a bit more. And I was able to find one small one, something small. So here you go. That's the third plague, kinin, lice. The fourth plague was arev, and that was wild animals, predators. This should be easy for you to find around your house. Let's see what I have inside my box. Here, I found some larger ones. I have my lion, I have my tiger, but I've also found some smaller ones as well. I got my wolves, I've got my rhino, and I've got another tiger as well. No little wild animals at home? Toy ones, that is? Then, maybe some wild animal masks can do the job for you. Here I have my tiger, or is it a lioness? Tiger. Or my lion. The fifth plague was dever. pestilence. It was a plague that killed all the livestock, all the farm animals. This should be an easy one for you as well to collect around your house. Let's see what I've found. Here I've got my cow. This is a large one. And I've got my horse. But I've also found some smaller animals as well. I got my little ducks. And I've got my small little horse. I've got a goat. I've got a sheep. And I've got a zebra. Zebra? How did that get in here? Now we're on to the sixth plague, Shchin. This one was a bit difficult to find, and we had to be creative about this one. So, inside my box, I have little stickers, little red dots that we can use as boils on the skin. You get the point. But then, what is something we would use if our skin was irritated? I found a beautiful hand cream. Well, not recommending it really to put it on by the actual Seder, but a little bit of hand cream in your danger do not open box can take you a long way. The seventh plague was borrowed, hail. So I went around the house and I found some ping pong balls. I've actually taken a red marker and I've colored half of them red. And that's because, fascinatingly, the plague of hail, borrowed, was a miracle in a miracle. That the pieces of hail were a combination of both water, ice, and fire. And that was quite devastating. So here you have your ping pong balls, half white for the ice and half red for the fire. If you don't have any ping pong balls around the house, some little small balls. Danger of a choking hazard, so keep out of the reach of small children. Okay, moving right along. The eighth plague was arba, locusts. This was a hard one for me. I searched everywhere. I wasn't that lucky, but I did come up with one single solitary grasshopper. So your challenge is to search around that house and find something or anything that represents the eighth plague, arba, locusts, grasshoppers. Well, you guessed it. The ninth plague was darkness. For this, you don't have to go too far. Inside your box, you have sunnies. I have my own pier. Small pier for the kitties. An even smaller pier for the little ones. And if darkness is not your thing, here's another idea. How about an eye patch? Ahoy, matey! Well, if you don't have any sunnies or pirate eye patches at home, then simply a black sheet can do the trick. The 10th plague was makas bechoros, death of the firstborn. And in my box, sorry, I got nothing. I'm leaving it up to you to be creative with this one and age appropriate as well. For joining me in this 10 plagues prop. And remember, keep it in the center of your Seder table and really make it look alarming, scary, and dangerous. And be sure that no one touches it and no one opens it until you reach the part of the 10 plagues. So you can have some fun during your Seder at that time. More creative, more fun, and more engaging. Thanks for listening. Now we're going to move on to a special Seder game. I'd like to share with you a Pesach game that can really be engaging. You can do it anytime during the Seder or during Shulchan Aruch when everyone's sitting and having the meal and enjoying themselves. It's called Pesach Celebrity Heads. Many of you will be familiar with the game Celebrity Heads. So let me show you how you can do it from home and you can enjoy it by your Seder with a Pesach theme. So what you're going to need is to make a crown or a headband and staple it together. Here, simple as that. I've made my crown or my headband. Now, I'm going to share with you 3 personalities that you can be using as the celebrities during this game, but you can be more creative. use all the education and the learning that you've been doing leading up to Pesach to choose other personalities from the Pesach story to add to this game. I'm going to share 3 of my favorite. The first one I have here today is Aharon. So you're going to have to pre-print this before the Chag and simply use some paper clips to clip on the bands. There you go. Our first celebrity today is Aharon. Aaron was Moshe's older brother, and in fact Aaron was the leader of the Jewish people who served the Jewish people loyally up until the time that Moshe was commanded by Hashem to join his brother in that leadership and get the Jewish people out of Egypt. Aaron also became a Kohen, and Aaron was beloved by all the Jewish people. In Ethics of Our Fathers, in Pirkei Avot, it tells us, Hevei mitalmidav shel Aharon, ohev shalom, virodev shalom, ohev et habriot, umekarvan laTorah. Which means, be like the students of Aaron. Love peace, pursue peace, love Hashem's creation, and bring them closer to the Torah. Aaron didn't just love peace, he pursued it. It was his life's calling. And that's why he was so beloved, and that's why he was so popular. And that's a great lesson we can learn from Aharon the Kohen. Like the Kohen, blesses the Jewish people throughout history up until today with love. To be like Aaron, not only to love peace, but to make it our job and to make it our passion to pursue that peace. My next celebrity is Tzipora. Tzipora was Moshe's wife. And Tzipora actually comes from the word tzipor, which means a bird. And just like birds are very beautiful, Tzipora was beautiful as well, both inside and outside. A little known story is that in the Medrash we're told that when Moshe had to flee from Egypt and he made his way to Midian, when Jethro, which was then going to be his future father-in-law, found out that Moshe was running away from Egypt, he placed him in prison, the Medrash tells us, for 10 years. And it was during that time, the only way that Moshe survived was the fact that Tzipora brought him food and water every single day. So Tzipora's a great character for us in the story because she teaches us about care. Even caring for someone like Moshe that was incarcerated, that was in prison. And later on, Moshe and Tzipora would get married. My third idea of a celebrity head is Batya. Batya was Pharaoh's daughter, and she was the one that saved Moshe from the Nile River. Rashi tells us that when she was there in the river bathing, and she stretched out her arm, Moses, in the basket, was a long distance away. And as she stretched out her hand, a miracle took place, and her arm stretched really far in order for her to be able to save Moshe. And one of the beautiful lessons about that is sometimes we want to do something good. We want to help someone, but we feel it's beyond our capability. It's beyond our ability. It's beyond our grasp. It's too much. It's too far. Nevertheless, the lesson from Batya is all we have to do is stretch out our arm. We can't think about perfection. We just have to think about the action. We just have to think about getting the ball rolling, starting it, just doing it. And then Hashem meets us halfway. Hashem creates a miracle that if we have the right intentions and we give it everything I've got, Hashem does the rest for us. Just like Batya, who stretched out her arm, and Hashem did the rest for her. And thanks to her, we had Moshe, who led the Jewish people, and we are a free people today. So thanks for watching. These are my characters. These are my celebrities: Aharon, Batya, and Tzipora. I'd love to hear what were some of yours. We're finally ready with our dress-up idea. And this idea is going to help you finish off the night of your Seder with a lot of fun and a big surprise. So Jewish tradition tells us that Eliyahu Hanavi, Elijah the prophet, comes to visit every Jewish home that is practicing and celebrating Pesach with the Seder. We actually even fill up a whole 5th cup of wine for Eliyahu Hanavi. And we fill up that cup right before we are about to sing Hallel. And in that song, we talk about Mashiach. We talk about the redemption, a time where there will be no more war, no more famine, no more hunger, no more fighting, no more arguing, a time of peace and tranquility in the entire world. And it's Eliyahu Hanavi, according to Jewish tradition, that is going to bring us that message when Mashiach has come. And that's why when we fill up that fifth cup during the time of Hallel, Eliyahu Hanavi also comes to grace our Seder table afterwards. So, you can actually begin this dress up all the way in the beginning of your Seder. Announce to everyone that a special guest is coming to visit your Seder. But of course, with all the airports and the delays and all the flights stopping and all the non-flight rules going on, this new guest is really, really, really delayed. So, the beginning of the Seder, announce that the guest is coming, but like I said, he's going to be delayed. And as the Seder goes on, you can give some updates as to where this guest is holding. He's a bit closer, he's cleared customs, he has more clearance, and then finally, when it comes time to go to the door and welcome Eliyahu Hanavi, you have someone walk in dressed up just like him. So, you can make this quite elaborate, or it can be quite basic. Let me show you what I have. Well, firstly, you can use a talit, or you can use a white sheet. I like the talit. You can use some flip-flops, Elijah the Prophet, endorsed by Nike. You can get a white kippah. A white beard is fantastic. Olden day clothing, hat, turban, and of course, a walking stick. It is a fantastic surprise when everyone's standing by the door with the candles saying Shvo Chamatcha, and all of a sudden Elijah the Prophet in the flesh walks into your Seder. But what do you do about the second night? Well, have everyone expect he's coming in from the same place. You make an entrance from a different door or a window and come from behind everybody and give everyone that surprise. Thanks for joining me. I hope you can implement this in your Seders. This way, more fun, more creative, and more interactive. Happy Pesach to all. L'shana haba'a b'Yerushalayim.
Hi everyone, I thought I'd share some Pesach recipes with you. The first one's going to be mango sorbet. It does have a couple of steps, so I've done the first step first so that I can show you the complete finished sorbet. The recipe is 3 mangoes, 2 cups of sugar, 2 cups of water, the juice of 3 oranges, and the juice of 1 lemon. So they make 2 of these containers. These are 1.5 litre plastic containers. So we chop up the mangoes, 1.5 in each container. Then in a pot we boil up the water, the sugar, the juice, and the orange juice and the lemon juice, and just mix it till it gets to a tiny boil so it's all dissolved. You can use less sugar if you want, like 1.5 cups, because it is quite sweet. Once the liquid is cooled off a bit, you pour half into one container and half into the other container, and you freeze it. You've got to freeze it overnight. So that's what I've done. In here is the liquid and the 1.5 mangoes in each of these. And now I'm ready for the second stage to finish the mango. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut up. It's a bit icy, so you take it out about 10-15 minutes before you're going to put it in the food processor and cut it up. And then it goes into the food processor with the knife blade. Okay, with the knife blade. And the next step is 3 egg whites, not the yolks, just the whites. So you separate, make sure there's no blood on the yolk, and you separate 3 egg whites. That's 1, and you put it in just like that, raw. And here's the second one. And 1 more. And this gets done with the other container. You can make as many containers as you want. I usually make about 8 or 10 for Pesach. Okay, and we put the machine top on. For about 30 to 45 seconds. That's 30 seconds, and look how beautiful and creamy the sorbet is. And then you just take it out with a spatula, put it back in the container, freeze it, and it's really delicious.
I hope you enjoyed this video. Pesach is about the past, but it's also about the future. We talk about redemption of our parents out of Egypt, but we also talk about personal redemption and redemption for the world. And this year, like no other year, the world needs redemption. Please, spend the time on the Seder night. Redeem yourself. Asher ge'olanu v'ge'al asavisenu. Redeem yourself. Express your freedom in the environment that we're living in the confines of our own home. And let us hope that God will do His part and take us out of this galus with the coming of Mashiach. Have a happy Pesach.